Feminism has been created and continues to campaign because of all the injustice and violence that many women have experienced throughout the centuries all over the world and still experience today. It is defined as all those ideologies and political and social movements that have one common goal: to establish and achieve equality of sexes on all areas. Feminist movements campaign for women's rights, including the right to work, the right to vote, the right to obtain equal payment, the right to own property, to receive education, to get married, and to protect themselves from sexual harassment, rape, or any kind of violence. There are many organizations that have fought for this cause and still fighting for it today. But today, we're going to talk specially about one, the National Organization for Women. It is dedicated to its multi-issue and multi-strategy approach to women's rights, and it is the largest feminist organization in the United States. On this occasion, 6 specialists of feminism, including me, will talk about all the things you should know about this organization, so keep on watching.
The foundation of the National Organization of Women begins just back in 1964, just before the Civil Rights Act. With the advance of the Civil Rights Movement, feminist pressure took place in the political sphere. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 came to Congress, and the feminists sought to add an amendment forbidding sex discrimination in employment, which was made slightly possible in the Title VII, but still with a minimum protection for women. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission was formed to implement the title of the Civil Rights Act. The future president of the National Organization of Women, Eileen Hernandez, and the founder, Richard Graham, fought to make the Title VII a reality. But the EEOC decided that sex discrimination in job advertising was authorized. Later, Dr. Pauline Murray, member of the President's Commission on the Status of Women, denounced the EEOC because of allowing discriminatory job advertisements. Then the author, Betty Friedman, supported him. This led to the feminist movement of the U.S. Dr. Murray and Friedman attended a conference in Washington, D.C. on June 28-30, 1966, where the EEOC was being charged of using discrimination for advertising. Friedman wrote the acronym NOW on a paper napkin. About 15 women met in Friedman's hotel room. They began planning the formation of an organization. One of the participants, Catherine Conroe, placed a $5 bill and invited the press to put your money down and sign your name, and now was now a reality. The purpose of the organization is simple: to give women a full participation in the American society. The organizing conference was on October 29-30 in Washington, D.C. They declared their concerns addressing all women and their aspects in their life.
Now has hundreds plenty of members in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Since their founding in 1966, NOW's purpose is to take action throughout intersectional crucial development to promote feminist principles.
Also, to lead collective change, remove discrimination, and accomplish and preserve all equal rights of women and girls in all features, special social, political, and economic life.
Of women, or now, has had multiple achievements since its creation, like protests, creation of laws, help women all around the world, and many others. I am going to talk about some of the most important events in the history of this important organization. Event in the organization's history, it is the creation in 1966 of NOW by a group of women. Betty Friedan was elected president and Kay Krarenbach chair of the board. NOW is the first national organization to endorse the legalization of abortion.
This is a clue event for the equality of the female gender. This will mean independence in their decision of their bodies and lives.
72 now organizes national campaign to pass a law guaranteeing women and girls equal education opportunities. In June, Congress passes the Education Amendments of 1972, which includes Title IX, guarantee of equal education opportunities, including sports. In June, after a 5-year campaign by now and more than 3 years of litigation of the non-complaint,
the U.S. Supreme Court rules to prohibit sex-segregated employment advertisements.
the North Task Force on Battered Women is established. The importance of this task force is huge. This is to protect women all around the world, not only by recognizing the gender equality, but in a physical way so no woman will suffer injuries that could put at risk their lives.
In 1978, the Pregnancy Discrimination Act, drafted by now founder Phineas Indrich,
Ends employment discrimination based on pregnancy, requiring that it be treated as any temporary disease by employees who are covered by the Title VII. First Lesbian Rights Conference is held in Milwaukee.
The first lesbian rights conference was a huge step for feminism. Both men and women have the right to love and express themselves without being discriminated for
There were a lot of specific women who played a huge role during the conscientization of feminism and the creation of NOW. It is important to give credit to all these women because they were a huge contribution to today's society and also to us women specifically. Cheryl Shilsam was a founder of the National Women's Political Caucus. Merle Fox felt inspired because she wanted to be a writer, but when she went to companies, they would tell her that she could not write because she was a woman, that she only belonged as a secretary. She became the U.S. Vice President in the early 60s. Paul Murray was a lawyer and a strong feminist. She was also the first African-American woman to get a GSD degree from Yale.
On July 1978, NOW organizes over 100,000 people to march down Constitution Avenue to the Capitol, demanding an extension of the ratification deadline. Equality. The House and Senate voted to extend the ratification deadline from 1979 to 1982, only half of the 7 years extension that was requested, contributing to the defeat of the amendment.
According to them, NOW is an intersectional, multi-issue, multi-strategy organization that takes a holistic approach to women's rights.
In 2010, for example, the UN Special Rapporteur on Violence Against Women met with the National Organization for Women in order to discuss issues such as the correct functioning of organizations aiming to help victims of violence.
Today, NOW focuses on achieving economic equality for women and ensuring abortion rights along with reproductive justice. NOW is also present on an international scale.
It has organized marches and demonstrations focusing on issues like violence against women. Such movements have set the National Organization for Women as a major factor in advancing women's rights and achieving better representation for them.